Welcome to another PAP Reports. Today is Wednesday the 8th of January and we're going to start today with two reports from my local force, Merseyside Police, which unfortunately both resulted in the deaths of innocent members of the public. 57-year-old ex-Merseyside police staff Andrew McKenna of Garston pleaded guilty yesterday the 6th of January in Liverpool Crown Court to causing death by dangerous driving. The victim, Linda Meagor, worked for Liverpool Council and was struck by McKenna's car on February the 15th, 2018 on the Strand close to the Liver building and Merseyside Police HQ. At the time, McKenna was still employed by the police. Now, McKenna previously pled not guilty to driving without due care and attention in March last year, but changed his plea when he appeared yesterday in court. McKenna's case has been set off till February the 4th when he will be sentenced. Next up, we have PC John Mole, who hit and killed a 70-year-old pedestrian, Tony Carroll, on December 25th, 2018, whilst on his way to an emergency call. PC Mole, who had been with the police for almost 6 years and who had previously worked for the London Ambulance Service, where his role included driving to and from emergencies on blue light response, admitted his error when he failed to initiate 999 mode and activate his siren by pressing the vehicle horn properly. When he was asked by the coroner whether the noise of the warning system would be loud within the police car, Mole said, "No, not really. You can hear the sirens, but you can hear the radio and you can have a discussion with your colleague. But surely you would still know whether the siren was on or not."
Is responding to a call.
We've had a report from the ambulance crew about a guy who has been unconscious.
Jurors were told there were 11 seconds between him activating the flashing lights and the collision with Mr. Carroll. The vehicle was travelling around 60 miles an hour when it hit the cleaner, who was described as a gentleman in touching tributes heard in court. When Mole was questioned as to why he was travelling twice the speed limit when he could have driven at a slower speed and still reached the incident within minutes, he replied that because the call was deemed a priority, he believed he needed to get there as soon as possible. Mr. Mole, who believed he did not have time to brake, said, "I ripped his shirt open and tried to begin CPR and I just could not do it. I just couldn't bring myself to do it. I've done CPR countless times and I couldn't do it. I just couldn't do it." As this was only the opening day of the inquest, there is no current outcome to report, but I will keep tabs and update when necessary. Next up, we have PC Hanna White and PC Jamie Woodfine, and they're going to be appearing for a misconduct hearing between Monday 13th and Wednesday the 15th of January in Dorset, following an incident that happened on June 25th, 2018. The two PCs were accused of failing to arrest a man in breach of a non-molestation order, failing to follow Dorset Police domestic abuse investigations policy and procedure, and knowingly making false, misleading or inaccurate entries onto the police force's system. It was alleged that the pair attended a home for a welfare check. They saw the man subject to a non-molestation order at the property, but failed to arrest him. Suffolk Police made a promise to make improvements after having been found to have let an estimated 5,300 crime reports go unrecorded each year. The force's 91% rate for recording reported crime was inadequate, said the inspectorate, equating to 5,300 total crimes and 3,600 violent crimes going unrecorded. In many cases, it said victims were deprived of services and offenders were not brought to justice. Her Majesty's Inspectorate of Constabulary said issues with understanding crime recording rules had not been fully addressed since being identified in 2014, despite a concerted effort to improve data integrity. In most cases, inspectors found reports went unrecorded because officers and staff did not fully understand changes to requirements for crimes like coercive control, or did not always follow rules for recording non-injury assaults or reports from third-party professionals. Others did not always record a proper explanation for not recording a crime. did not record a crime when victims chose not to support investigation, or counted only one crime from records containing multiple reports. For example, several malicious communications amounting to a course of harassment. Of 1,203 audited crime reports, 373 were domestic abuse related, 74 of which went unrecorded, including 66 violent crimes that were not recorded, not followed up, and not dealt with. Now, what bothers me about these reports is that, and others, there always seems to be such a huge amount of time between the incident coming to light and the police being pulled up in front of a misconduct hearing. In some cases, there's been 2 or 3 years between the incident coming to light and the police staff being, pulled up in front of a misconduct hearing, allowing them to work for that time and giving them ample time before the misconduct hearing initiates for them to leave the police force, meaning that in 99% of cases no action's taken against them because they no longer work for the police force. And I think it's ridiculous, scary, and I think it just pisses all over public confidence in the police. However, there is one thing we can be grateful of, and that is that 60-year-old Keith Farqurhson, a former Aberdeen police inspector, admitted on the 27th of December to killing his wife. Alice Farqurhson is said to have been killed by her husband in Aberdeen in August last year. Keith tried to get away with a reduced and amended guilty plea of culpable homicide at the end of December, but the prosecution said no fucking way, Jose. The indictment claims he seized and struggled with his 56-year-old wife before compressing her neck and face. The murder charge further states Keith left his wife Alice unconscious after restricting her breathing by covering her nose and mouth. He is then said to have caused blunt force injury by means unknown. This cretin is also accused of trying to defeat the ends of justice, which I guess means something like to pervert the course of justice by giving false accounts of what's happened, deleting messages and photos from his phone, as well as giving the police the wrong PIN number for his mobile device. Ex-Police Scotland Inspector Keith Farqurhson will now stand trial for the murder in February. And let's hope he gets what he deserves rather than being let off lightly. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. If you like the content and you'd like to help support the channel, you can do so. In the description of every video there are some links to ways that you're able to help support the channel so I can continue putting out content. If you're unable to help us in that way, hit that subscribe button up the top there. If you haven't already, become a subscriber. That is support enough. Share the videos, comment, like, it all helps. If you're looking for something else to watch, up top there is my latest video. Down the bottom there is a video that YouTube recommends for you.